In this lecture, we're going to learn how we can create sales order in the SAP S/4HANA system. The topics we'll be covering in this video, they are how we can process a sales order, how we can create a sales order with reference to a quotation. We'll also discuss about the structure of a sales document and different business data that we can maintain at item levels, and how we can block a sales order, how we can reject a sales order, and how we can mass process sales orders. So first of all, let's discuss basics about sales order processing. A sales order is basically received by the customer service department of a company, and they will be responsible for creating and maintaining the sales order. So the sales order can be received via over the phone or via email, via fax, etc. There's some other electronic ways which we can use to receive the order, but that's automatic, which is known as EDI or IDOC. We'll discuss later on. But here we're talking about the manual creation of the sales order that is received by the customer service department. So within a sales order, it normally contains information like customer and product. So what the customer details, customer address, their Incoterms, payment terms, etc., and the material information, quantity, etc., and also the price of the product and the financial terms, for example, the Incoterms, etc., and delivery dates, what are the delivery dates, and what quantities we're going to deliver, and shipping information, how we're going to ship, also the shipping time, etc., and billing information as well. That all these information are there in the sales order. And we can create, if you want to create the sales order in the GUI, then VA01 is the transaction. So I'm going to show you that first, and then we'll discuss our next part. So here, if I go to the system, first I'll show you in the GUI. So here I'll create I'll go to VS01 transaction, and here enter the order type for now OR. The different order types, we'll discuss them later on, and enter your sales organization, distribution channel, and division. Press enter. So here in the sold to party screen, you need to enter a customer number, or you can type the name of the customer. Like in my case, I'm typing John Smith, so it will show you the customer number linked to this text. So I'll select this customer, press enter. Next is showing me a warning that enter the customer reference number, which is their purchase order number. So you can enter any number like 1 2 3 4 5, for example, and press enter. Then here under the material section, we can enter our material. For example, I can enter drum code we created before, and I can say drum 81, press enter. And system is showing me a pop-up saying that they are open quotation for this material and customer. So that means it's asking me whether I want to reference to this quotation or not. For now I will not, but again in a minute I'll show you how we can reference it. For now you just click on continue. If you click on list, it will show you all the open sales quotation, but for now I will just close it, or you could just say continue. Here now cursor is on the quantity. It's asking me what quantity I want. I can say 2 is the quantity, press enter, and there's a warning minimum quantity is 5, which is maintained in the master data somewhere. I'll just press enter to ignore it. So it's saying there's a price missing, price mandatory. I can scroll right, and I can type in the manual price here. So I can say $50. Same way, I can enter one more item. I'll quickly enter one more item. So you can enter as many items as you want. For now I'll enter drum 20, press enter. Again same thing, asking for a quotation. I can click on continue, and quantity I can enter 5, press enter, and asking for price, I'll scroll right, and here I will enter the price, which is say $40, for example. So this way you can scroll down and you can enter as many as items you want for now, and system will be creating the item number like 10, 20, etc. So That's how we can create a sales order. And once you are done, quickly you can check if something is missing. I can click on save, and if something is missing, any field mandatory missing, then system will prompt me that order is incomplete and ask me to complete it. You can also check it manually by going to edit and incompletion log, saying document is complete, looks good, so I can save it. So that's how we create the order in the system. If you want to create in the Fiori app, so here I'll show you that as well. So here this application called manage sales order. So if I search for sales order only, that's the one, manage sales order. And here we have seen it before many times. I can click on this create sales order icon. This screen is, again, you can see very much similar to what you can see in the GUI. So enter your order type, sales area, and here click on continue at the bottom right. And same thing, exactly same thing that we have seen before. I can enter here my customer, and I can purchase order number. I can type a number here, for example, and then I can scroll down, and here I can type my material, say drum 81, select that, and quantity I can say 5, enter. Is again asking me there's open quotation. I'll just ignore it and click on continue, or you can also click on cancel. And now saying there's a price missing, so I can enter here manual price, for example $50, press enter. So once it's done, looks good, you can click on this save icon, and that's how you can create the same thing via the Fiori app. So you can see the message sales order 20 has been saved. So now let me go back to the slide. So that's how we can process a sales order without any reference. Now we're going to talk about how we can create a sales order with reference. With reference means we can create with reference to quotation, but there are many other references we can use, so that I'm going to show you in this part of the video. Now before we learn that, I just want to mention that you have the option, for example, if you want to reference it to a quotation, then for example for the same customer you have, say there's a customer 1 and quotation 1, and same customer and quotation 2. So you can combine these two quotation into one sales order. So that means two different quotation for same customer we can combine into one sales order, but the condition is that your quotations should be open. So open means they are already not referenced. For example, if there's a 10 quantity in the quotation for an item, then it should not be copied to a sales order already. It should be open. Open means it's not referenced yet. And other condition is that quotation still valid. You know, when we create the quotation, we have seen in the previous video, we need to enter the valid to date for a quotation. So that validity should be still there. That means it should not be in the past. So the quotation should be valid. When these two quotations are met, these two conditions are met, then you can copy, not two, you can even copy as many as you want quotation to the one sales order. And other thing we can also do is, for example, we got a different customer 3 and quotation number 3, we can split one quotation data into two different sales order, so vice versa. So either we can combine more than one quotation into one order, or one quotation can be split into different sales order. So let's see how we can do it. So here if I go to the system, so I'll show you in the GUI, because screen is exactly same whether you do it here via the Fiori app or GUI, same. So here if I go to VS01, here I enter my order type, OR, and sales area. Now we have seen already that if I press enter, and if I enter my customer and enter my material, and if they are open item, system will prompt me. If I press enter, system will prompt me that yeah, they're open items, do you want to copy? If I click on list, it will show me which items. So there are two different sales quotations there that are matching with the same customer and material code, and we can copy any of them. So I can select this one and click on copy. That's one way to do this, but we can also manually do it. So you can see when I clicked on copy, it copied everything. But let me start again this transaction. If I go back, if I go to /nva01 and start the transaction again, so in this screen you can click on this create with reference icon, and system will show you this little box where it's asking that whether you want to copy from a quotation. You can also copy from an inquiry document, a quotation, or a sales order, or a contract, or a scheduling agreement, or billing document. Now there are also customizing in the place that will allow or not allow to copy from any of these tabs. For example, in the customizing, we can say that okay, we don't want the system to allow copy from inquiry document, or we don't want the system to allow to copy from scheduling agreement. So we can do those sort of customizing that we'll learn in the later videos. Okay, for now, here I can search for quotation. So here I can search quotation by purchase order number, or I can also enter the sold to party. So I remember the sold to party number, which was John Smith, that one. When you enter the number, then click on search. So when you click on search, here it will show you all quotation, not only the open. It will not show you the open quotation, it will show you everything. For example, in this case, the first one, 20000001 and 2, these two are basically not open, they are closed. I know that. Only 3 and 4 are open. For example, if I select this 2, for example, it's just showing me what are there. But if I click on continue, copy, there's a message there, the reference is incomplete and cannot be referenced. That means either the document is incomplete, that means there's some missing data, we need to fix that, enter the data, then we can use it, or they're already referenced, stuff like that. So I can ignore that, and I can remove this, and I can click on search icon again, and I can make it white, and I can say copy the third one and click on this icon copy. So it will copy the number here. Now here you can see two buttons. One is copy, one is item selection. Copy means copy everything from the this quotation without asking anything. Item selection means you can select what item you want to copy. So I show you both. If I click on copy, you will notice it will straight away go to the sales order creation screen where it will copy everything. It didn't ask me anything. But if I start again, it was number 3, and if I select this item selection, then system will ask me there are 3 items, which item you want to copy, and also I can change the quantity here. Obviously you can delete or change the quantity in the sales order screen, but this will make your process a bit easier. For example, I can say I only want to copy the first item, and I only want to copy 5 of the quantities, for example. So if I copy 5, that means 5 is still pending, that means 5 quantity is still open for this item drum 81, because I'm only copying 5 out of 10. So I can done now, once I'm done with this one, and I can click on this copy button. Now system will only copy 1 item and the quantity that I proposed, which was 5. And it will also copy the pricing and everything from the previous document. So that's how you can create with reference. Now as I said, you can add before saving, even after saving you can do this. You can reference more quotations. For if you want to do that, what you need to do is from this screen on the top, go to sales document, create with the reference, and system will show you the same box again. It's asking me purchase order number. Let me enter that. System will show you the same box where you can do the same search again. For example, I will say this is my sold to search. I can say I now want to copy also to 00004. Click on copy icon, and then I can click on item selection, so that I can select my item. I can say okay, this time I want to copy item number 20, which is drum 20, and I only want to copy quantity 2 out of 12. And once you are done, click on copy, and that's it. You can see these two items are there that system copied, and system will create a link. I'll talk about the link later on, where you can see this link, and once you are done you can save it. Done. So here if I open the order VA02, if I open the order, when you click on this little document flow, I'll discuss about document flow later on in more detail, but for now if I click on it, you will be able to see that it's only showing item 10, saying this order is linked to this quotation number item 10. Same thing if you select item number 20, click on this second icon, status overview, is showing that, not this one, the other one, this one is showing that item number 20 is copied from this quotation number. So system will keep a link that from which document number I'm copied, what was the quotation number, etc. And when you open that quotation, so only you will see the same link again. For example, if I go to VA22, which is the quotation transaction, and here if I click on this document flow, I can select it. For example, I can select item 20. If I click on this document flow, you can see it's saying that from this quotation we created this order number and we only copied quantity 2. That means 10 is still pending. So that's how we can create the link. So that's how we can copy. So from this one I can create one more order. For example, if you want to reference this one, I can copy this quotation, go to VA01, click on reference, create with reference. So already referenced before item number 20, but I'm doing it again for item selection. So I can again, same thing, you can see now there's only quantity 10 left out of 12 because we copied 20. So same way you can again copy, maybe not both of them or only one of them, and you can change the quantity whatever you want to copy. For example, I want to say I want to copy again these quantities and click on copy. So again the balance will be there. There's a warning here, minimum quantity, just ignore it. Yeah, that's it. So same way you can, that quotation is still open, so you can use the same quotation to create as many as sales order you want, but the condition is that it should be valid. Another thing is that it should be open, the quantities item should be open. So that's about creating of sales order with reference to quotation. Now we'll discuss about the structure of sales document. Now a sales document has three different parts. One is called header, then we got item, then we got schedule line. There are three different parts. Header, which is common for all the items, then items, which has item specific details like material, then schedule line. Schedule line will tell you the dates of the delivery dates. Another point to be noted is system will do an availability check, which I will talk later on in detail, and system can propose a schedule line. That means the delivery dates, there can be one delivery date only, there can be more than one depending on the system setting. So we'll discuss those things later on. So here, for example, for one item there can be only one delivery date, we completely delivering on one specific date, but for item 20 there can be two or more delivery dates. That means we doing the partial delivery of this item. So if you see on the right hand side, the header is the common data for the order. For example, order number, ship to party, etc. All the data that you can see at the header level. Then we got item. Item means the item number, material code, quantity, material description, etc. Then we got schedule line. Schedule lines is the dates where the system is planning to deliver, to send the goods, to deliver to the customer. Let us see some more details about the structure of the sales document. So as we have seen header, so the data in the document header is valid, which is known as header, which is valid for the entire document for all the items. This includes, for example, the document number, customer related data like relevant sold to party, Incoterms, terms of payment, etc. Then we have item level. Each item in the sales document contains its own data. This includes, for example, data about the ordered material and corresponding quantities. Each sales document can contain several items and the individual items can be controlled differently. Example include the material item, service item, free of charge item or text item. So what that means is at item level we can have different data, and different data, not only different data like material text or material code or the quantity, but also there's a thing called item category, which I will again discuss in detail later on. So depending on the item category, the item can behave differently. For example, for free of charge there's a different item category. For text item there's a different item category. So there's a big role of item category in processing a sales document item. We'll discuss in more detail later on. And finally we have the schedule line level. So the schedule line contains delivery quantities and delivery dates. They clearly belong to an item. Every item that includes an outbound delivery in the future sales and distribution process must have at least one schedule line. So please keep that in mind that every item should have at least one schedule line. There can be more as well, but one is the minimum. The item can have several schedule lines if, for example, the order quantity is to be delivered in several partial deliveries at different times. So that is also possible. So let me show you this one in the system. So here, if I let me save it and I will show you this order. So order is saved. So if I go to VA02, enter. So here you can see all the data you can see on the top part of the screen, like order number, sold to party, PO number, total net value, etc. This is the header data. Also you can, if you want to see more header data, there are a lot of different data in the different tabs. If you see the different tabs here, the reason is there's so much data that's why they created the tab, so that they can't show you all the data in one screen. So therefore there are different tabs for different types of data. If you want to go to header, then you can either click on this icon, this little icon, display header details. If I click on it, it will show you all the header data like sales data. This is the shipping data, which is the header data, billing data, which is for header, etc, etc. Or alternatively, you can go to header and jump to the direct view. For example, I can from here I can jump to the shipping data, for example. So here's the shipping data at header level. Now whatever is data is at header level, for example, which is mostly coming from the business partner data or customer master data like currency, customer pricing group, etc., they are copied to the item level. They are copied to this item level. So that's the header data, as I said, which is common for the order, like order number, sold to party, address, etc. of the customer. And these are the item data which is separate for each item. For example, item data for item number 10 is item number 10, material is drum 81, it got different quantity, different price. So to jump to the item data details, different tabs, you can select the line and click on this little icon. There's one way to do this, or you can go back, select the line for which you want to see it, and you can go to item and which tab you want to see. For example, I can jump to shipping tab straight away. So here different tabs you can see: sales, sales B, shipping. So data, sometimes what happens is data, this is like material specific data, like every material has their own weight, own description, etc. But some data is copied from the header level, like Incoterms, etc. They copied from header level, payment terms, header level, they copied here to the items. So this is the item data. Again, if I go to the item, and here if I go to the schedule lines, so here schedule lines means this is the system has planned that okay, I will be delivering it to on this date, which is 18th of February, and this is the confirmed quantity. So confirmed quantity is the main quantity that system is confirming. So this is, there can be, depending if there's too much quantity and MRP can't produce it, MRP can create more than one line here. There can be one line, two line, three lines, and saying okay, I will deliver 100 quantity on this date, another 100 quantity after 1 week, etc. So that's a part coming from MRP, which is the MM module part. But for now, this is your the data that you can see here is your schedule line data. Okay, so the three part of data. On the top you have header, and then you have different items, and each item has their own schedule line data. All right, so here if I go back to this screen, now it will make a better understanding that this is the header, then we got item like item number, item code, quantity, and each item has their schedule line, which are the delivery dates, which are the schedule line data. So three types of data within the sales document. Now we'll discuss about different business data at item level. What that means is, as I just mentioned, that a lot of header data is copied to item data. For example, payment condition, Incoterms. So in the header, that's coming from the business partner on the customer master, and that will be copied to the item. So item 10, item 20, item 30, doesn't matter how many items are there. All those header data is copied to the item level. But you can change it at the item level. But again, that depends on setting. So if depend on customizing whether it's allowed or not. So for example, here the data is copied from here is Z, payment condition is ZB01, Incoterms is FOB. So for item 10 we are happy with the same data, but for item 20 we want to change it. So whether this change is possible or not, that is coming from the customizing of the item category. Now item category I'll discuss in more detail in the later videos, but for now quickly I'll show you where this customizing is. So here if I go back to the system, here for example you can see if I select item 10, I double click on it, I can go to shipping and maybe billing, and here you can see Incoterms and payment terms. You can click on this little arrow and go to the next item, or click on this last item to go to last item. This is to the first item, and this one to the previous item, this one to the next item. So this is the item number 20 here. So for example, I want to change the payment terms here, which is coming from the header. I say I want to change it to say 005 for example. Press enter. You can see system is allowing me, there is no error, system is allowing me to change this one because this is set up in the item category customizing. Now what is item category? Here if you scroll right, you will be able to see item category here, which is 10. This is 10. This is the standard item category for sales order, TAN. Now as I said, I'll discuss in detail about item category setting later on, but for now I just want to show you where this customizing is. So if you go to a transaction called VOV7, which is the item category customizing, and here scroll down and search for 10, or you can click on position, type 10, and this is 10, select this and click on detail. So I'll discuss all this setting later, but here you can see business items. See this one, if this is checked, system will allow you to change the header copy data at the item level. If this is unticked, then system won't allow you to change. So that's basically coming from the customizing, but as per the standard customizing, system does allow to change. But again, if some company wants, they don't want to change it for some reason, we can, as a consultant, we should be able to change the setting. Now we'll discuss about blocking a sales order, how we can block a sales order. Now there are different blocks available. One is called delivery block, one is called billing block. Now these two blocks are available at header level. At item level we only have billing block, and the delivery block at item level, if you want, that is only can be done at the schedule line category. So let me show you this one. So here you can see delivery block. So that means if we created an order and we have not yet delivered, we can put a block here. For example, this customer was a prepayment customer and they have not paid their dues yet, or there's some payment due, or there's some conflict going on with the customer, and we don't want to send the goods to the customer, and we don't want anyone accidentally sending the goods to the customer, then we can put a block here. If there is a block, no one will be able to create a delivery for this order. So by accident as well, if someone trying to create it, they will get an error that there's a delivery block here. Same thing, so that's for if you want to remove the block, then you can make it blank. Same thing at header level, billing block. For example, if you want to stop the billing for some reason, you're not sure about you entered some price here, but you're not sure about the price, you're waiting for the price to confirm, but you're happy to send the goods to the customer, but you want to send the billing document to the customer later on, then we can put a billing block so that no one will be able to create a billing document unless you come here and remove it. Now putting a block at the header level will applicable to all the items, but in some scenarios you may want to only block at item level, not header level. For example, we want to only block say item number 20. So if I select the item 20 and we don't want to block the item 10, only 20. So here we can go to the detail of item 20 under billing document. You can see there's a billing block here. So if you put a block here, this block is only applicable for this item. All other items should be fine. And this reason you can see that you can create them in customizing. They're just description. There's not much involved in the customizing. You can create as many entries as you want, like billing block, delivery block. You can create your own setting. And if you want to put a delivery block at item level, then you need to go to schedule line tab, because it's available at schedule line, not item level. So here you can see delivery block, and you can put one of the block here, which is applicable for at the item schedule line only. So for example, if I select this, press enter, you can see system will put the billing block here. So that's how we can put a block. Either we can put it at header level, or we can do it at item level or schedule line level. Rejecting a sales order. Sometimes what happens is, for some reason we created the order, but customer, they just called, they said for XYZ reason, they're saying that they don't want to purchase this specific item. So you can reject one item, and that will be ignored by the system, and system will not be able to deliver it or bill it. There can be some other reason. For example, we created a sales order, then we realized that item is obsoleted in our company, we're no longer selling the item. So there can be different reason where you need to reject an item. So if you want to reject an item, so what you need to do, select the item you want to reject, double click on it, and here if you go to sales, first step, sales A, and here you can see reason for rejection. You can see different reason here, and these reason you can they're just description. You can go to customizing and you can create your own reason. They're just a drop down entries here. So you can, if I enter one of the reason, that means this item can no longer be delivered, no longer can be processed further. Another interesting thing is that, for example, if you have delivered this order, all the items, 100% items you have delivered but not yet billed, then when you come back to this order, you will see that delivery block is disabled. You will see this is grayed out because we already delivered. We can't block it. It doesn't make a sense. So let me show you one example. If I show you this order, maybe order 20. Not this one, 19, I guess. I was testing one of the order before that I delivered, that I can show you now. Yeah, this one. If I go to the document flow, you will be able to see that this is outbound delivery is already created for the item. So for all our items actually. So you will see this is grayed out. You can't do anything here because it does make a sense. It is already delivered. You can't block it. However, it's yet to be built. You can put a billing block, but once it is built, you can't then put the block here. Now last part of the video, that how we can mass process sales orders. So mass processing of the sales order means sometimes what happens is maybe there's a price change and we want to update the pricing in all the orders for a specific customer, and there can be thousands of orders. So, or for some reason you want to change the delivering plant in couple of hundreds of orders, or you want to change some other data, for example Incoterms, you want to change payment terms for some items. So there can be thousands of dollars of orders, and it doesn't make a sense that you go into each of the order and changing it manually. So there are some mass processes available where you can change thousands of orders in just few seconds. So let me show you this one. If you want to do it in GUI, there's a transaction called mass, and here in the mass transaction, if you search for sales order and execute, and here you can select what you want to change. For example, you want to change sales order item or header, so select one of them. So for now I'll select item and then execute, and here you can paste all the orders. For example, you can enter here range. For example, I want to change orders from order number 1 to maybe 100. For example, we don't have 100 orders in this system, but just giving an example. Or what you can do, you can copy all those orders and you can paste here. For example, here I can manually say I want to change order number 19, I want to change order number 20, I want to change. So you can add all the orders, or you can also, if you got the orders numbers in the Excel file, you can click on this little, you can copy them and click on this little icon to paste it. It will paste everything here. So you can click on execute button and then this button execute again. So here it's showing you all the items linked to this order. Then you can click on this little icon, the first one, select fields, and here it is asking you what you want to change. For example, I'll say billing block. You can also filter for, it's showing you all, like you want to see alphanumeric field, or you want to see date fields, or you want to see, there's so many things like quantity fields, there's so many things. So for example, in this case, I'll just go to all. I can say, okay, I want to change the billing block for them, and also I want to change, select something else. Say sales unit, and once you selected the field, click on this little icon. They will be shown on the left, and click on OK button. And here, for example, I have selected these two fields, that sales unit, which is each. I can say I want to sell in, for example, pallet, for example, and select pallet here, and then you need to select this column here. Make sure you select it and click on this little icon which is saying perform mass change. If I click on it, it will change them all, and you can save it. It's saved. So same thing here, I can say if you need to put a billing block on them, I can select, okay, I want to put this billing block, and make sure you select this column, and once you're done, click on this little icon which is perform mass change. It will copy everything to this one, and you can then click on save button to save it. So here you can have, there's just a message here, click on do not display and click on continue. So here you can have thousands of orders, and depending on the number of orders, system will take few seconds to few minutes to change them all. So see, it's a green light here, that means these orders are changed. So even if you go back to these orders, so order number 22, if I go to VA02, order number 22, and if I go to the item detail, there should be block on it. If I go to the billing document, you can see this is a block we just put. So same way you can use the mass transaction to put a block. And when we talk about if you want to do it by the application, this so here when you use this application manage sales order, here for example you can filter via, for example, there are different filters you can put. For example, I can say I want to change for this customer, and then search. So whatever lists are here in this screen, there are not many options here. For example, you just need to select those orders, and what you can perform here is, for example, reject all item, set delivery block, remove delivery block, set billing block, remove billing block. For example, if I selected these two, and then I can click on set delivery block, and here I can select say whatever delivery box you want, and you can say okay, done. That's it. So that's how you can use this application. But when you use the GUI, there are more options as compared to this application. So that's all about this one. So in this lecture, we learned about how we can process a sales order, how we can create a sales order with reference to a quotation. We'll discuss about the structure of the sales document, how we can maintain different business data at item levels, how we can block a sales order, how we can reject a sales order, and how we can mass process many sales orders. So that's all about this one. Thank you very much, and we'll catch up in the next video.